hostage negotiation, general skills, how do they become valuable for the corporate workplace?
Hostage negotiators in general, their success rate at influencing other people to do what they want them to do is around 93% because we knew how to listen, because we knew how to employ tactical empathy. You use the words understanding how they view the world. And that's critical in order for you to maximize your chances at getting what you want. That's critical for you to increase by 1 degree your performance, the way you communicate, the way you conduct business. And I use that metaphor of increasing your performance 1 degree because think about water. Water boils at what? 212. What's it doing at 211? Nothing. 1 degree turns you from hot water to kinetic energy. 1 degree change in the way you think about communicating one person to another. And it starts with you embodying the mindset that it's not about you. It's not about your goal. It's not about your objective. It's about how does the other side view the lay of the land? How is my ask going to impact them? How is what I want going to change their world? And the sooner you can understand that and then articulate that back to them, the less resistance you will get in the conversation when you ultimately get to your goal or your objective. So the skills that we espouse in the world of hostage negotiations were tested and proven in some of the most difficult conversations on the planet. Therefore, they're appropriate in any conversation on the planet. Because if I can get the guy to put the gun down and release the 9 people that he's holding inside of the pawn shop, you can get that person to sign the contract. You can talk to your team about change without getting a lot of pushback. And so we know that it's applicable to the business world because it's not based on anything other than the human nature response. Once you get your head around that, you put yourself at a distinct advantage when communicating one person to another.
The human nature response.
That's another great technique that you just did there. The human nature response dictates that the single biggest driver of human decision making, and by extension, human behavior, is fear, usually the fear of loss. The fear of loss. People will work harder, twice as hard, in fact, to avoid a loss as they will to get an equivalent gain. And that's a change in the mindset. We have to change the mindset because we're conditioned to go into these conversations and throw our data and information on the table and say, here's why you should make this decision. And the other side goes, nope, not ready to do it.
Understand what the other person is going through that they're having a conversation with, and understanding that human nature. So how important, in your opinion, Derek, is negotiation now that we live in this virtual society, not just socially distant, but sometimes emotionally distant, mentally distant? Like, how important is negotiation right now?
It's extremely important. Look, we were emotionally distant before this pandemic. Most of us. Why? Because the type of listening that we talk about within the Black Swan method, which is built on the foundation of tactical empathy, it takes too much work. It's hard. You've got to really dial in. This goes beyond just active listening. This goes into what I call aggressive listening. This is listening at the deepest level. What is their worldview? What is the emotion and the logic that they associate with this worldview? How do they identify with the environment and the situation that surrounds them? At the deepest level, if you don't understand what the other person is going through, you don't understand them. And if you don't understand them, it's going to it's going to be like a stench. They're going to be able to smell it, and the opportunity, the chances that there's going to be a connection and a collaboration are dramatically reduced. Most people spend the better part of their day listening at levels 1 and 2. Level 1 is intermittent listening, where you're listening just long enough for you to get the gist of what the other person is saying. And then who do you start listening to then? You start listening to your own internal monologue. Or we're at level 2, rebuttal listening, where we're listening long enough till we hear something that we know we can argue with, and then we're just waiting for the other side to shut up so we can tell them how brilliant we are. And so in this day and age, we know people are under tremendous pressures. We know people are under a lot of stress. We know people are being fueled with fear that is a byproduct of that uncertainty that you speak of. And so it's important for us to, and it's not that hard. This is not rocket science. This stuff was developed by cops for cops. And if you know anything about cops, we like things simple. And so that's why it's incumbent upon us to demonstrate, even in the smallest way, that we understand what their perspective is, what their frame of reference is. Because people, I don't care who you are, what corner of the globe you come from, the pigmentation of your skin, it doesn't matter. People love to have other people understand how they feel. And listening is the cheapest and most effective concession that you can make to another person.